Okay. As more and more people use AI on a day-to-day basis, there's one issue I don't see mentioned often enough. And that's the potential for disrupting the outcomes of these models. What that means is that we use more and more AI to help with decision making, with answering questions, finding information. And that's not just at the personal level when you go to Google and ask questions or ChatGPT, but also in companies. For example, if you're doing drug discovery, you're likely using models to find certain information, to parse results, to help you understand what's going on. And that's true also for other industries. As we integrate AI systems more into our lives, there's a higher incentive and a potential for an attack. AIs are large-scale systems, so that means that it's not just the fact that they can answer wrongly, it's the fact that they can answer that many, many times at basically infinite scale. So that already happens today with misinformation networks. We already see that happening a lot whenever there's like elections, as we had one. There's a lot of incentive on disrupting the discussion, the public discussion, the perceptions, etc. But while in our social media, that's a dynamic conversation that is happening on a day-to-day basis, it spreads very fast. Some misinformation can be hard to remove, but at least it's a public discussion. It evolves, right? There's a chance for different sides to voice their voice. When it comes to AI models, they are trained on the internet data. And that means there is a chance for someone to spread misinformation at specific times and have this information be frozen into the training data and then go into a model training. And because these models are very, very large and they answer a vast amount of different types of questions, that means it's very hard to control, to measure the quality around all sorts of different areas. So it is possible that different organizations may target certain industries or even specific topics or historical events and try and change the outcome of these models by introducing a lot of misinformation or just data points, hard to track data points into the data. So again, why is this a problem? It's a problem because we rely a lot more on AI and will continue relying more on AI going forward. I don't think that's going back. What's usually done today is that there will be teams focused on data quality and removing misinformation or at least align the model with human values. But that in itself is specific to a small group of people working in tech companies. And it's a very opaque process as well. The models themselves are very opaque. If you think about it, it's not that different from SEO on Google, where you see the decrease in quality of Google results these days. In part is because of all the different websites with bad quality that have hyper-optimized for introducing just the right amount of data so that they trick Google into putting them above, right? So the same is likely to happen with AI systems. And because maybe of AI systems, it may happen faster because you can use AI itself to help you perform these attacks. Because of all the different opportunities and the growth of AI, there's a lot of opportunity to make money, which sometimes tends to also blind us a little bit to the costs, right? As we move faster, we tend to forget to ask certain questions, which may lead to short-term bad choices. And I'm not necessarily advocating to not move faster, but it's good to sometimes think about these things. Right now, I think the best action to take is to increase as much as possible the education, the literacy around AI. Not everyone knows how these models work, and there has been cases of people using the output of these models without any validation whatsoever. A bit like what happened with the internet, with the TV before that, maybe with the radio before that. As new media and information technologies are introduced, there's always this kind of sense, I don't know, I think we treat them as oracles a little bit. So whatever information comes out of them, we just assume, or many people will assume that to be correct, to be the right information. It's that, but taken to maybe a more slightly opaque and larger scale problem. Don't forget, every time you see answers from models that you use at work or at home, just validate. It will be an interesting opportunity to think about systems that help validate the data. I think going forward, reducing the hallucinations is good, but also like a way for people to quickly validate the results they're getting is very useful as well, because otherwise it's just a waste of time. So I'm still an optimist, but it's good to think about these things. And right now, the best thing to do, if you can, is to try and educate yourself. I'm trying to do the same, to discuss with others. This is one way to do it. So please join in the comments. And the other thing is to help as much as possible educate others. There's a lot of noise because of how fast things are going. If you're a developer, you're probably experienced a lot of noise from the fact that there's so much happening. It's hard to know what are good ideas or not. And every good idea seems to go very fast, right? But also, if you're not a developer, it's really hard to know exactly what's happening. It's hard to know what's good, what's bad. And sometimes when people are overwhelmed with information, they either shut down or they try to oversimplify, right? So education, again, education, trying to figure out what's important, what's not important, it's useful. Stay with your eyes open and be careful, because misinformation has an even greater potential to cause damage. Yep. Anyway, see you.